Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing okay. Um, I hope everybody's doing fine, and you all enjoying a beautiful Sunday as it is. Um, Today, as you can see in the event topic of discussion, I'm going to really speak on the. I mean, the whole conversation in the Gambia at the moment is centered around the discussion of rape, and today I am going to talk about rape from an accused person's perspective, because the entire discussion and or conversation centering and focusing on rape is usually done from a victim's point of view, or usually it's done from the point of view of activists and or set of persons or group who call themselves feminist. And I'm focusing, of course, my focus really is on the Gambia, on the situation in the Gambia, so not necessarily anywhere else. Maybe during the course of my my conversation, I will proceed to mention what best practices in other jurisdictions in other countries. So probably like I'll mention things about the UK, I'll mention things about the Gambia, but mainly my focus would be America, but mainly my focus would be on the Gambia. I hope you guys are okay. Just going to, because I know usually you have people that join and say, "Oh, Mel, you gotta go back, you gotta start again." So I have no intention to go back and start again. But what I'm gonna do is just give a 5 minutes here and there to allow other people to join in the conversation. So as you all know, or well, I'm believing you might know or must have heard, that I am I'm the right person to speak on rape from an accused person's perspective. What we see is people trying to streamline the conversation towards the perspective of the victim, or perspective of the stakeholders that are responsible or are in or have some sort of legal purview over these issues. So most times you will hear from NGOs, you'll hear from people who are running projects here and there, and organizations that really they thrive on these issues of of rape or gender-based violence, and it's always for me the passion never outweighs the financial remuneration that comes with the work that these individuals and organizations do. So basically, you see a lot of organizations that claim to give support to victims of gender-based violence, or to victims of sexual assault. However, you never see in quantifiable terms, substantively, what is the work that these individuals do. You don't see, they mostly don't give you statistical data as to success stories, as to number of secured convictions, and or the amount and or dedication and time that is giving to psychosocial support to these alleged victims. And so really that is usually where the conversation is focused on. And if you can see in the Gambia, I don't know if you have noticed, but one thing that is certain is that in the Gambia, it's the discussion is really centered around so the issues of rape. So it's not like rape doesn't happen. So let's get that straight. So rape is a very serious offense. It is something that is happening. It is something that is going on in the world today. It is happening. It is happening in the Gambia. But what is quite phenomenal and interesting in the Gambia situation is that you never see discussions centered on rape where the alleged accused person is just an ordinary Gambian. I'll repeat that. You never ever see issues of rape where the alleged victim, or sorry, the alleged accused person is just an ordinary Gambian, somebody that is not known, somebody that has no clout, somebody that is not given some sort of celebrity status. It's just an ordinary person. So it makes you want to ask the question, and is rape only happening with where the alleged perpetrator is somebody well known, an accomplished person, a successful person in whatever amounts to being successful in our part of the world, especially in the Gambia. So it makes you question and wonder, where are the ordinary people that are committing these acts of heinous acts of rape? Why can't we see activists fighting for and to say that Momodu Balde or Lamin Cham or James Jackson or some person that is not known? If you go to our courts today and if you speak to the police, there are a host of cases where the alleged accused person or perpetrator is a very unknown person, but there's no interest. There's no interest with these with these activists. You don't see them talk about it. They won't post the pictures of these individuals on their timeline. They won't come out with a campaign of trying to fight for that particular victim. So there are so many victims. There are so many victims of sexual violence. There are so many victims of rape that are in the Gambia that the so-called feminists or activists have no interest whatsoever in actually advancing their causes. And these are the genuine victims of rape. But they don't have a voice. They don't have a society, an organization that seeks to fight for them. They don't have feminist groups that go on Twitter or go on Facebook and or social media advocating passionately and even engaging the state and or the government and or relevant institutions to seek justice for these individuals. So yes, you will hear the slogan "Justice for Mama." Of course, Mama, the alleged perpetrator, is a Bob Keita who is or was one time associated with the current government, the government in power. Was I mean, you could tell, you see, like, he had pictures with President Barrow. He was driving government vehicles, so he was close to power. He was close to the corridors of power. So the fight was not because there was some sort of interest on an ordinary person. No, the fight was because it was against a government or a person who is rubbing shoulders with the powers that be. So you can tell from these scenarios. And of course, you had which I'm gonna get to, which is my situation. So I'll just jump into that so I don't waste a lot of time. Now, I said I was going to speak on rape, but from the alleged accused person's perspective. So in 2019, it was exactly on the 28th of June, because it's the day I'll never forget. So this was the day for my graduation. So I graduated from the University of Oxford. The first Gambian to graduate from the University of Oxford, majoring in international law, foreign policy, and diplomacy. The first Gambian ever to have been awarded a master's degree in that discipline. And that was not the only thing. The other bit was, I was fortunate, and I say this fortunate in a humble way, because I went to, I mean, if you know, the University of Oxford is the leading institution of learning, of higher learning in the world. It's number one. It's been ranked number one. I mean, so, times without number. It is the best. When I say the best, it is the very best. Both students and lecturers, the students and faculty, is of the highest brand. So, for example, my international law lecturers were professors who had written books. So, like, all the texts that we were using in Oxford were texts that were written by people who are our lecturers and professors. So, for example, when it came into the diplomatic field, I mean, the names in diplomacy and people writing on diplomatic scholarships and international law were persons like Sir Ivor Roberts. You know, I mean, Sir Ivor Roberts was a very prominent UK diplomat and academic who majors and has a lot of scholarship on international law and diplomacy and foreign policy. I mean, this was somebody we had up close and personal interaction with. So everybody that all are part of the faculty, I mean, from the lecturers, the professors, the tutors in Oxford, are people that have made their mark, in academics in the world. So the reason why I say I count myself fortunate and lucky or privileged was because I had the honor of giving the valedictory at this event. So for me, it was major. It was absolute major. I was a Gambian. I was coming from the smallest country in Gambia, in mainland Africa. I had students from every single country in the world. I mean, University of Oxford boasts of students from over 193 countries, and I had students from the United States. I had students from from England, from other parts, from Asia, from Japan, from everywhere. So it was such an honor for me. It was such it was like the height of my life at the time. It was the greatest moment of my life. So of course I came and I executed the task of delivering this speech. I mean, those of you who are on my timeline would have come across this this speech. So I gave this speech. It was an instant hit. I mean, I gave my speech. The entire audience was at attention, clapping, cheering. People were calling me because we had guests from the United Nations. You had people from all over the world, people from government. You had diplomats, you had lawyers, you had international law experts, you had foreign policy experts, you had people, just everybody was there. And people were running to me, asking me my name. People were like telling me they wanted to speak to me, they wanted to talk to me. It was just for me a magical moment. A magical moment. And of course, being excited because prior to graduation, I was on exams. So what I did, I think since January of that year, so since January of 2019, I deactivated my Facebook. So I was not on Facebook. I deactivated my Facebook because I just needed to concentrate. I needed to focus on my school. I had thesis to write. It was a very tough course and stuff. So I just decided I'm gonna deactivate my Facebook. So on the 28th, so I actually reactivated my Facebook on the day that I finished exams. I reactivated my Facebook on the day that I finished exams, the last day that I finished exams. That was when I reactivated my Facebook. So on this particular day, a friend of mine, she's from Nigeria. She was a colleague. She's Nigerian British. So she now, because I had my phone with me because I was reading my speech from my phone. So I had my phone. But she was recording it with, just the amateur, just the unprofessional video, the amateur recording with her video. You had a lot of people that were there that had their phones and were recording. But of course, there was the official recording from the University of Oxford and from the department. So when we were done, she now forwarded me the video. She's like, oh my God, that was absolutely brilliant. And she forwarded me the video. And I took the video and I posted it on social media, on my social media. So the event continued. So we were there, eating, drinking, listening to other speeches. It was like a time of partying and just having fun, drinking, eating, and just basically everything. So 1 minute I saw on my Facebook, there was like the video going viral. Like everybody was like, congratulations, oh my God, you've done so well, you've made the Gambia proud, and da. Those kind of messages. Like I was getting messages, private messages and stuff. So at some point, my phone died. My phone went off. At some point, my battery died. So when my battery died, of course, I turned my phone off. So I didn't know what was happening on social media anymore. So my friends, my colleagues were like, okay, we're going out to celebrate. We're going to the club. Nobody's going home. So, but I was like, okay, I mean, to those of you who are familiar with dressing in Oxford, so I had to wear my suit, like a tuxedo, for the event, and bow tie, 3-piece suit. And, I had to wear my sub-fosk on top of that, and then I had my gown, on top of that. So it was hot, very, very, very hot. So I was like, no, I was like, I won't be comfortable, being on this dress and going out clubbing. So I said to them, let me go home. I said, and secondly, my battery has died. I said, so I need to get home, so I need to charge my phone. Because I can't do without my phone. So there was a bit of push and pull with my friends, and eventually like, okay, you go, and then join us. If we don't see you, we're coming to get you, and that kind of thing. So I was like, sure. So I went home. So when I went home, I plugged in my phone. I plugged in my phone to charge. At the time, it was an iPhone. So those of you who are familiar with iPhones, once you plug it, and it starts to charge, the phone comes on its own. So I plugged my phone, it was charging, took off my clothes, and I had my towel around me, and I was going downstairs to go to the bathroom to shower and then get ready to go out again to join my colleagues to party. So immediately my phone came on, I got a call. And this call came from one of my friends. She lives in the UK. And she said to me, she just said to me, like, so I picked up the phone and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go shower, I'll call you, I know what you want to talk to me about. Because I was thinking she was calling to congratulate me on the speech or that kind of thing, and da. And she was like, you know, she was on the phone and she was like, whatever you do, no matter what you do, just get off the phone. Just turn off your phone. You know, deactivate your Facebook. I was like, what are you talking about? No, Mel, I'm just telling you, just deactivate your Facebook. Just listen. I was like, what's going on? So, you know, I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I hung up my phone. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to pay attention to anything. You know, let me just go and shower. I don't know what she's talking about, because I was thinking it was this whole speech that I made that was going viral. So as I was going downstairs again, my phone rang a second time. And this time, when I picked up the phone, it was somebody that was calling me from the Gambia. And when she picked up the phone, her words to me were, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. This is bad. Where are you? You know, turn off your phone. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Can you tell me what's going on? She said, no, just turn off your phone. I mean, deactivate your Facebook, you know? So I was like, okay, fine. I said, I'll do it. So now I was very curious. So I wanted to know, what is it that is going on? So I turned my phone on. I mean, the phone was already turned on, but I went onto Facebook. So when I went onto Facebook, you know how you have like this notification? So there was a red button on there was like all these red stuff on the notification messages. So I clicked on the notification, and the first message I saw was from this girl called Chat Joyce Sanyang, or whatever her name is, writing some phenomenal paragraph saying, I hereby accuse Melville Roberts of rape. This was how she did it. And then she tagged me on the post. So at that time, the settings on my Facebook were in such a way that if somebody tags me, it automatically comes on my wall. So not knowing it was on my wall and everybody was, I'm seeing this. So I was like, okay. I read it, but this is a person I was dealing with that I had concluded has mental problems, because this was a girl that was sending me the most ridiculous of messages. I mean, I have messages, I'm sure some of you had seen some of those messages, where she was even slitting her wrist, and sending me messages telling me if I don't pay attention to her, if I don't talk to her, she's going to kill herself, and that kind of funny messages. She would send me messages that she wants to have a child with me, she wants to have a baby with me, such ridiculous messages. So for me, when I saw that, I just like, oh, this one, I said, this one is not well. I said, you know, she's not well, so I'm not even going to pay attention. But not knowing exactly what was going on and the magnitude of this conspiracy that was about to start, I had no idea. The next minute, by the time I knew what was going on, I got a message from Lala Toure. She sent me a message, and she screenshot the message of this particular lady, this particular girl. And she was telling me, what's going on? Can you tell me what's happening? Because we're going to stand by her. We're going to side by her. That kind of thing. So, of course, you know, I just dismissed it. I just said, you know what? You know, don't send me such nonsense or such rubbish messages and stuff like that. And then she responded, she's like, oh, you see what we're going to do. Something like that, to that effect. I ignored, I finished. Then, by the time, so this was around like 9 o'clock at night. So I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to go out again. I'm not in the mood. So I just put my phone there and I just laid down. So around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, the first call I got that I picked up was from Fatoumata Rahman Koka. Fatoumata Rahman Koka and Manyinya Dambel. It was a joint conference call because these were individuals who were my friends, who I used to speak to every day. Every day. I mean, every day. no matter what, I'm on exams. I'm not on exam. In fact, I'll be talking to them. I'll be writing my exam. I'll be studying or writing my how you call it, my assignment. I'll send it to them to read it for me. I'll be reading it out to them. So that kind of thing. So they called me. It was a group call. I'm not too sure if Seiture was on that call. I can't remember now on that first call, but I definitely know that both of them called me. And when they called me, of course, you know, you could tell there was concern, but then as the conversation prolonged, I began to understand the gravity of what was happening. So these were people, these were individuals who I was very close to. People, I mean, I've known Manina. I went to school with her. I went to high school. We went to high school from Form 1 to Form 6. So these were people that know me, like people that have been in my life for like 25, 26 odd years. They knew me. So then the conversation started taking a different turn. So from being worried to like now questioning me. Oh, Mel, are you sure you didn't do it? Are you sure, Mel? Like you look at this person. Oh my God, Mel, this is bad. So they were talking to me. Whilst they were talking to me, of course, it was real time. So other people were coming up. Oh yes, he raped me too. Oh yes, he did that to me too. And they were now telling me, because I was in reading. I had already switched off. So they were now telling me, oh my God, it's not looking good. Oh Mel, you know this person? This person is also saying that you. I was like, so for me, the conversation changed. So instead of having a solid, solid friendship of people that I was already like in a very confused state. And then you're hoping that these are the individuals that are going to stand by you and stand for you. And they start questioning you. To be honest, it's something me and them have gone over the years. We've gone over it. We've all, I mean, we learned from our mistake. I mean, anybody who had to apologize to each other have done so, and we're back as friends. We're okay. But at that particular moment, I just felt like the people that I needed in my life to stand for me and listen to me, that I expect would know me, were starting to question my person and question my integrity and question who I was. So, at some point I said to them that I don't want to talk anymore. I hung up the phone. And of course, I think I spoke to Seiture, and she also, the same thing, the questions was like, are you sure, Mel? Like, okay, but I've known you, you're not like that. But you could tell there was the subtleness of this, like, oh, is it you? Are you sure? That kind of thing. So that was going on. So, by the time I went back on Facebook, Facebook was blowing. Facebook, Gambian social media space was blowing. My name was all over. My pictures. People were going on my Facebook. They were taking my pictures. They were plastering it all over with headlines: rapist. Oh, that's the dog. Oh, he needs to be caged. Oh, by the time I knew it, and I'm telling you, this was all in the space of like 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11, 12. In the space of 4 hours, there was a petition. A petition had already been written, directed at the General Legal Council, at the Gambia Bar Association, asking that I should be suspended, that my license as a lawyer, as a legal practitioner, should be revoked. I was sitting there, and imagine, this was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, the height of my professional and academic work, journey. And I was seeing this petition. By the time I knew what was happening, so I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know what to do. So I need to speak to 3 individuals that I needed to speak to at that time. So the first person that I needed to speak to was the person that I was in a relationship with. The person that I was in a relationship with. So I was like, okay, you know what? I am going to talk to her, because I'm sure she's on social media. So I called her. So when I called her, so what happened before, she had my picture, because remember, this was my graduation. So she had my picture as her profile picture on, I think, her Facebook, her Instagram, and her WhatsApp. So when I called her, I noticed that her profile picture had changed. So I was like, I just said to myself, okay. So this was me calling my girlfriend at the time, the person I was dating and in a relationship with. So I called her, and when I called her, she said to me, are you seeing what's going on? I said, that's why I called you. She's like, oh my God, like, I don't understand what's going on. I was like, so why did you take out your your social media? Like, why did you take my picture off? No, I can't. You know, right now I'm having issues. My mother is telling me that I should take it. You know, my sisters, everybody's calling me because her family knew she was in a relationship with me. She's like, everybody's calling me. What is going on? What is happening? That kind of question, those kind of questions. So I just said to her, you know, at this point, I said to her, you know what? You've known me. You've known me. I was like, if you believe whatever is out there, it's your choice. You can believe it. I said, the truth is, I have never in my life, raped a woman. I have no reason to. I said, I have no reason to. I said, but it is your choice to believe what you want. Of course, she put the phone down. Then I said I had to call 3 individuals. So the second person that I had to call was my mom's sister. I mean, she is like my mother, basically. She took on the role. She took on the role of that, of being my mother since my mother died. Even before my mother died, me and her had a very phenomenal relationship. We're super close. So I called Auntie Femi and I said to her, I just sent her the messages. I said, this is what's happening. And for me, I want to say this. That, and I'm going to say this today, I'm not sure she watches all these live videos, but I'm sure somebody would tell her that in this life, the prayer that everyone should have, or everyone should wish for, or everyone should be on everybody's lips, is to have one person, when the entire world goes around you, that person is solid as a rock to stand by you. This was me having achieved the greatest achievement of my life thus far. Something that no Gambian had achieved prior to this. And all of a sudden my world was being crumpled. I saw it being crushed and scattered before my very eyes. This was me thinking, hey, you know what? I'm done. I'm moving on to bigger things and stuff like that. And bam, it was crushed to nothingness. And the people that were close to me were starting to question me, not question me based on their knowledge of me, not question me based on their experience of me. They were questioning me based on what strangers, complete strangers, people that don't know me, people that have probably never seen me, people that have never interacted with me. They were trying to now question me based on what was being said about me on social media. And then I called my mother's sister, I called my aunt. And I'm expecting that after speaking to my girlfriend, speaking to my friends, and I was expecting the same thing, that she's going to start questioning. And you know what? The first thing she said to me was, it's nothing but jealousy. These were her exact words to me. It is nothing but jealousy. She's like, don't respond. Deactivate your social media. Don't talk to nobody. It is absolute nonsense. These were her words to me. These were her words to me. A 70-year-old woman. These were her words to me when I called her. She was in the Gambia. I was in Oxford, in England. I called her. This was what she said to me. She didn't ask me, and I'm telling you guys, until today, she never asked me just a simple question, or did you? Was it you? Her words were to me, I know you. I know the temperament that you have. And I know you're not even capable of forcing an individual. I know exactly who you are. I hung up the phone and I called my cousin. And I'm sure you people all see him on my social media. I mean, Tunde, my cousin Tunde, he's like my brother because we grew up together. My mom and her mom are sisters, same mom and dad. But he's not a cousin. He's my brother. He's my blood brother. I called him. And when I called him, he said to me, you know what? He said, don't mind these people. He said, this is all jealousy. This is all lies. You know what? Can I come to you? Can I come? Can I come over? I said to him, no, you don't need to come. I'm all right. He said to me, this is not true. He said, because I was talking to even, he said, I'm telling my wife that I was talking to even one of your girlfriends the other day. And, you know, when I went on vacation to Gambia, and he was asking me whether you're a man or not because you've never touched her. He said, so when people are saying these kind of things, I know who you are and I don't believe it. These are the only two individuals in my life at that point that never questioned me until this day, 3.5 years after. They've never questioned me. They've never said to me, oh, but did you? They've never asked. Not one single time. They believed in me based on knowing who I am, based on their knowledge of who I am. Not once did they question me. Two individuals. And these are individuals, no matter the circumstances, no matter what, I will stand by them until I go to my grave. I might have issues with them. I'm human. We might fight. We might do stuff. They might do things that upset me. But these two individuals stood by me and never questioned me. Now, I'm going to go back to my girlfriend. So she did like, but is it true? Digala. And then she's like, you know, so the reason why I say this, I want to draw an exception to two people that never questioned me. And of course she questioned me. But then it was getting very, very bad. It was very, very bad. And I was beginning to ask myself, if at all these things were true, why did it have to wait until my graduation? Why did it have to wait until I graduated from Oxford on my big day, on the most important day of my life, on the day that they knew Gambians were coming out to celebrate me? Why today? If you believe, and the thing is, I had left the Gambia, I had moved from the Gambia. Remember, I was not staying in the Gambia anymore. And these were people that were now saying that, oh, it happened years ago. Or it happened that years ago. It happened this time and that time. And I was wondering, I was not a powerful figure. I was never a powerful figure when they claimed that these things happen. I was just an ordinary Joe, an ordinary boy that they could have just gone to the police station. Not one single person did that. I said, even if you don't go to a police station, you would have confronted me. You would have sent me a message and said, what you did to me, I was so upset. Or I came to your house, you raped me, or you did this. I said, at least, you know, a little common denominator. Just normal exchanges. Nothing. So coming back to my girlfriend at the time, and so after, she said to me, so she was now confused because, and I could understand her position because she had a family surrounding her. So she had a mom, she had her dad, she had her sisters who now said to her, oh, this is the guy. So the sisters now were now sending her things that was being written all over about me. Guys, it didn't end. It didn't end. So they were sending all sorts of, I mean, all manner. So anybody, what I saw, any single person that had some sort of an issue with me, and when I say issue, I've never gone there. There's no human being that can ever tell you that I went off my way, or I hurt them, or I did something bad to them. There's no human being that can say that authoritatively. With nothing. No, that person is not yet born. Me, I have never done bad to a human being. And I always tell them, yeah, I get angry easily. I mean, I will say things to people when they say stuff to me, you know, like I fight with my friends, I fight with Say, I will fight with Manina, I'll fight with Fatoumata Rahman Koka, I'll fight with people that are close to me, but that's where it stops. That's where it stops. I never go out of my way to go and plot evil or do bad to a human being. I've never done it. And I keep saying this. I keep saying this every day. I challenge any individual that believes that I have gone out of my way to do them bad or do them evil. Let them come out and confront me with the fact that person is not yet born. That person doesn't exist. So So you have all these things, and she was confused, and they were like, oh, you gotta leave him, you gotta leave him, you cannot be with such a person. And trust me, I understand where she was coming from. I understand where she was coming from. So eventually, she was talking to me, but you know, it was the conversation was different. She was torn between two worlds. Should I leave this guy? Should I disassociate myself with this guy? And then, or should I stay with him? So this was Friday. Saturday. This was Friday night. Yeah, Friday night. This was Friday night. Yes, the graduation was on Friday. So this was Friday night. Now, I woke up on Saturday in the morning. Entire Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, every social media platform that Gambians were, it was my face, my picture. I was dehumanized. I was painted as the devil. People, and I'm telling you, they created WhatsApp group. And those of you that can remember, they created a Facebook page called Surviving Melville. They were on every Facebook live. And remember, I want to point out, this was the victims themselves, or the alleged victims themselves, that were actually coming out and making these videos. The alleged victims themselves were the ones coming out and actually making these videos, these live videos, explaining the circumstances and saying, giving basically full of lies, narratives, saying all sorts of absolute lies. How, oh, they survived me, oh, I almost got them, but they ran, but something happened. Lies. And I was there watching it all. Everything. They didn't stop at that. They started insulting my person, telling me all sorts. And this was being propagated by people who, I'm telling you now, I mean, I'm sure most of you know, call themselves feminists. In fact, that was when the so-called feminist slogan, the feminist ideology, the Gambian type was born. They were trying to launch, I mean, I saw one of the alleged victims launched an organization based on that. They were coming out. This was their own show. Because remember, what happened was, it was the time when this Tufa Jallo girl came out to say that Yahya Jammeh raped her, and she was giving such a broad reception and platform. So it was all over. There was nothing that Mama Linguère Sarr was not writing about me. Yes, we're friends now. She's apologized. I mean, I've also apologized if I've done something to her. There was nothing that she wasn't writing about me. Nothing. I'm telling you, there was nothing. I have everything. In fact, I have a cupboard. Those who know me, I mean, Tunde will tell you, Say will tell you, people who are close to me will tell you. I have archives. Because when they were posting these things, what I was doing was documenting it. I had a printer. I was just printing. I was just printing. I was documenting every word. Before you knew what was happening, my Fati jumped into it. This was the Minister of Interior or presidential advisor. He jumped into it and said that, yes, I sexually assaulted his wife. I'm telling you. So can you imagine, this was me, an ordinary guy, against the entire world. You had a presidential advisor, a Minister of Interior, who the police were under his command, the military, the intelligence service, the SIS. This was a guy coming out, also claiming that back in 2017, that I had assaulted his wife. And not only that, he said it happened in front of the Director General of Protocol at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Can you imagine the stupidity? But in all of this, I believe that God was in it. Because you see, God never ever allows his faithful to go to be completely eroded. He never allows that. So, 1 minute my Fati said that, or he wrote that, then the second minute, so remember I said to you something, I said I was documenting everything. Anybody that writes, whatever it was, no matter how insignificant, a word, a phrase, I was printing it out. Before you say Jack Robinson, my Fati went back, deleted his post, he edited his post. You know, remember he said I assaulted his wife, then he edited his post, he took his wife's name out, then he said he added at the bottom, oh, but these are mere allegations. Remember, this is a guy who already put, and up till today, I have both of his messages. The time he edited it. Oh yes, Madi Jobate. All of them, they were writing all sorts of stuff. Anything you imagine that anybody could write or say about a human being was written. They said I was a thief. So I just want to paint a picture so you understand. I'm trying to explain from the perspective of an accused person. All these while that I was speaking to you, not a single official complaint was made at any police station in the Gambia. Not one. I will repeat. At this point in time, not one official complaint against me was documented at any police station in the Gambia. It was all between these so-called activists, these so-called feminists, and the alleged victims. The next minute, they were saying that I was a thief, that I robbed banks in Gambia. So I just want to paint a story. Imagine this. I was this guy who lived in the Gambia at that time for 30-something years. Well, in and out, Gambia, America. Nobody has ever taken me to a police station to say I took their £1 or their $1. And all of a sudden, they were painting me to Gambians. They were selling me to Gambians. So it wasn't about the rape accusations alone. They wanted to dehumanize me, you know, to present me as an animal, to present me as the worst person that can ever exist, that can come out of Gambia. So they were writing that I was a thief, that I robbed banks, that I had cases in court, in the courts in the Gambia. I have these messages. If anybody disagrees with me, I will put them out on social media for you to see. Writing, I'm telling you, feminist women, writing saying that I had cases against where banks have taken me to court because I robbed banks of money. They said to me, they even said that I stole monies from Gamtel. They said to me that I was in America, that the reason why that I was kicked out of America because the authorities were looking for me. I ran away from America because the woman I was living with, I sexually assaulted her daughter. Yes, I'm telling you, they said all these things. All these things they said. To a point. Mama Linger Sarr wrote, and I'm telling you this, and I've always told Mama Linger, and Mama Linger knows my position. I'm not doing this to attack her. I've always told Mama Linger that the truth is the truth. I will never ever speak against the truth. Yes, I am friends with you. But it does not change the fact. It does not change the fact that in a particular time and space, in a particular time and day, you wrote lies about me. Lies that came from the figment of your imagination. Or lies that were fed to you by people who were evil and mean and bad. In fact, the woman I lived with in the States had just joined me in the Gambia when I was being called to the Gambian bar. When I was being called to the Gambian bar, she flew all the way from America to be with me in Gambia for my call to the bar. This is the woman that they were saying I sexually assaulted her daughter. That woman had to come out on Facebook to do a Facebook Live to record and say I am the best thing that ever happened to her. To say I am the best thing that ever happened to her. Just a few weeks ago, she sent me pictures of me on her wall in her living room. This is how they created. This is what they painted. So people that did not even know me now started to question me. People started to believe this. Mama Lingersa did not stop at that. Mama Lingersa wrote that I got my position in government because I recorded the president and the vice president in a conversation, and then I used that recording to blackmail the president and the vice president, and that's how they got me a job. The callousness of that, the stupidity of that. But after speaking to Mama Lingersa, 90% of the things she wrote was said to her by people. She said that. Imagine, she said that. Imagine, can you imagine an intelligent woman like Mama Lingersa? A very intelligent woman like Mama Lingersa? A woman that holds herself to be right or bare? You go on your timeline, you write that I got my job because I recorded the president and the vice president, and I used that to blackmail them. The head of state that had the entire command of the Gambia National Army. The head of state that had the command of the police. The head of state that had the command of the Ministry of Interior. The head of state that had the command of SIS. You go on your timeline, you write such bullshit. You write such nonsense, you write such stupidity directed against me because you want to fuel an agenda of a feminist ideology that is based on lies. Yes, she can always make the excuse. She has said to me that, oh, this was stuff people said to me. People came to me and said to me this. But your knowledge, your intelligence, your capacity to think, your IQ, your ability to reason, to make rational judgment. Would you imagine that I had cases in court against banks? I was a fraud. And I was working. I was at a senior position in government for years. You never had a case reported against me. You never saw a case in court. You believe with your knowledge that I can record and I can blackmail an entire president? Did they stop at that? No, they didn't stop at that. You begin to question me, question my paternity, question me where I came from. And then they begin to insult my parents. Insult my mother. Yes. And that was the only time when I breached cause and I decided, if you insult my mother, well, boy oh boy, you have hit it. Because if you insult my mother, you will see the ghetto side of me that you never knew existed, and I will destroy you with everything I have. Everything I have. And it was then, and this is something I've made very clear, anybody that talks about my mother, you're dead meat as far as I'm concerned in my world. I will do everything and anything to destroy you. And that was the exception. Did they stop at that? Guess what happened? My employers, the government of the Gambia, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, wrote me a letter. And what did they do? They leaked the letter to the press. They wrote me a letter threatening me. And I'm going to repeat, all this while, not a single complaint was made against me in any police station in the Gambia. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs wrote me a threatening letter telling me that they gave me 7 days to return to the Gambia. That if I don't return to the Gambia, my diplomatic passport will be cancelled. That I will be reported to the British authorities. They wrote me that letter. I'm talking this because I'm speaking on the perspective of an accused person. All this while, not a single evidence, not a single shred of evidence to substantiate the allegations of rape against me was ever made. Nothing. Not even a single, not even a text message as 3 lines. Mel, you raped me. Why? Nothing. I mean absolutely nothing. Not an iota. Not a shred of one evidence. Nothing to substantiate their allegations against me. They didn't stop at that. They didn't stop at that. The Minister of Justice at the time, Batambedu, on a Monday morning, it was the first time the Ministry of Justice, and you know what, when I say things, people don't know, they don't understand me. Because when I say things, I don't say things in oblivion. I do my research before I speak. I have facts and evidences before me before I speak. In the history of the Ministry of Justice in the Gambia, it was the first time a press release was sent out on a Monday morning before 8:30 a.m. Batambedu was in his office. A press release was written and signed and sent to every newspaper in the Gambia and posted on every Gambian social media website, stating how the government was taking the allegations seriously. How Batambedu instructed the Inspector General of Police to open an investigation into the alleged crimes. A hotline was opened and dedicated to victims at the Ministry of Justice. A desk officer was sorted to take complaints. It was there in the press release. All this while, not a single complaint was made against me in a police station. It was the first time in the history of the Gambia that the Inspector General of Police was instructed to open an investigation into a situation or matter where not a single complaint has been brought against that person. None. Not one. Not one. They did not stop at that. I will continue. They did not stop at that. If you think you have heard everything, they didn't stop at that. They went on to say that I defrauded my mother. I defrauded my sister. That I took all my mother's property and did not give my sister anything. They went on to say that. But Mama Linguère Sarr is alive. She wrote that, but she's alive today and she's not dead. And I'm speaking publicly and Mama Linguère Sarr is watching me. Even if she's not watching me, she will watch me or somebody must have told her. I broke my rule and sent Mama Linguère Sarr my mother's will, a copy of my mother's will, where everything my mother has was divided equally in the middle between myself and my sister. I sent it to her. The executor of my mother's will is still alive and kicking. So you imagine, when did I defraud and took everything from my sister? So I'm trying to show you guys the activities of these people that you call feminists. So you know how dangerous, how evil they can become. How evil they can become. How they try to control the narrative so that it is seen in one way. Because they knew that they had absolutely nothing against me. They knew that their so-called rape victims were nothing but filthy, pathological liars of the tallest extreme and order. They decided to go against me and my credibility, to damage me before the eyes of the world. I wrote back to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Fatu Network. Lamin Jai was writing about me every day. Every single day. All manner of lies was written about me. It didn't stop at that. It didn't stop at that. Fatu Ture of Kerfatu invited me on her show. Invited me on her show. As a journalist, started taking sides, questioning me. Asking me how can they doubt the victims. Yes, it happened. Not only that, it didn't stop at that. I'll tell you more. The police obtained a search warrant at the instruction of Batambedu. The police obtained a search warrant. They went into my house in the Gambia. Imagine somebody said I raped her in 2011. They went into my house in 2019. They broke into my house. They broke into my room. They took all my mother's jewelries in my room. Until today that I'm speaking to you, I don't have them. It was stolen by the police. And that is what I will believe, and that is what I will say. Up till today that I'm speaking to you, I don't have them. The police did not only stop at that, they went twice. They went the first day, they went again at night, 10 o'clock at night, went into my room, took all my mother's jewelry, her gold, silver, pearls, everything she had that I've kept since she died in 2013. Yes, they stole it. I have now taken them to court. The matter is in court. The matter is in court. Did it stop at that? No. I wrote back to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But of course, I said it. And before I wrote back to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because it was a mistake on their part, and I know it. Because really, at the time, the permanent secretary was away. The minister at the time was away. And a particular official at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs decided to write that threatening letter to me. But it was the last letter that ever came from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs directed to me after they read my response. Because I did not get a job through the back way. I'm highly qualified, and they know that. They know that. You write to me, I responded. It was the last communication I ever had from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to date. They wrote to me, they said to me, they gave me 7 days to return to Banjul. I wrote to them asking them what rights they had to ask me to go to Banjul in 7 days. Was I in England at their auspices? Was I in England on their account? Did they send me to England? I asked them, what rights do you have to write to me to tell me to go back home in 7 days? Did you bring me to England? Did I come to England under your sponsorship? You said you're going to cancel my diplomatic passport. Did I tell you that I came to England on a diplomatic status? Did I register at the Gambian High Commission as a diplomat in the United Kingdom? And I said to them, you're asking me to come back and respond to social media allegations. I said to them, it is the responsibility of those who have alleged and accused me of an offense to prove the offense. It is not for me to come to Gambia and disprove their allegations. And I also asked them, I said, was I on study leave? Are you paying me whilst I'm away? You're not. Because God always is with me and guides me. When I was leaving the Gambia, they gave me the offer. They said they were going to pay me. They were going to grant me study leave with salary. Whilst I'm away, they will be paying me. I rejected it. I told them I don't want it. I told them I don't want it because I did not know at the time what the world had for me. And I did not want to be held by the string, on a string by anyone. So can you imagine if I was under the payroll of the government of the Gambia at the time? What would they have done? They would have summoned me to Banjul, extradite me to Banjul on social media allegations that were based on absolutely nothing but jealousy, evil, and greed and wickedness. But because I'm not a greedy person, because I'm not materialistic, I turned out their salary. I told them I didn't want it. I told them I didn't want it. And I left and I came to England. Not under the auspices of the government of the Gambia. The government of the Gambia did not contribute a dime to my education or to my journey to the United Kingdom. Not a single dime. I applied to the University of Oxford as an individual. I was admitted as an individual. I went through the rigorous process of interviews, 4 different interviews. Interviews for the University of Oxford, interview for departmental interview, college interview, and interview for sponsorship. All 4, I did it on my own, without a single contribution of the government of the Gambia. and then you sit your behind somewhere, you write me a threatening letter telling me to come home in 7 days. What cheek? I wrote back to them. It was the last time they ever wrote back to me. It's the first time I'm saying it today. I didn't leak my response to them, to the media. They wrote a letter to me, a letter that was clearly marked confidential, but it was on every newspaper within an hour. Fatoumata Rahman Koka saw that letter before I received it in my email. Fatou Rahman Koka saw the letter before I received the letter in my email from a responsible ministry. They wrote me a letter, they leaked the letter deliberately to the press, but they never leaked my response to the press until today. 3.5 years later, they've never ever divulged my response to them to the press. Did it stop at that? No, it didn't stop at that. They started attacking the very few people that started to be by me or stood by me. And today I'm going to mention one person. I don't know if he's watching this. Bully Sow. I don't know who Bully Sow is from Adam. I don't know who Bully Sow is from Adam. This was one guy that everybody, remember at this time, my aunt had told me to deactivate my social media. So I had deactivated my social media, my Facebook. But I still had my WhatsApp. And every day somebody would send me a message of Bully Sow defending me to the core. To the core. This was a guy that I've never met, I've never spoken to, doesn't know me. Doesn't know me. Remember, in all of this, with everything that was being said about me, with all the insults, with everything, I never said a word. This was in 2019. I never said a word. Never said a word. There was Nathaniel Robb. Nathaniel, in fact, I can say between Nathaniel Robb and Bully Sow, they changed the narrative. I never said a word. They never said a word. Of course, there are people that stood by me. But what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to show you the gravity of how it was. Yes, there are people that came and defended me after. But when it initially hit, when the matter was hot, I didn't see that support. In fact, people were writing to me, sending me messages. Oh, Mel, stay strong. I believe in you. But I can't come out. When I write, they attack me. I'm telling you, and I want the world to know. We all saw my interview with Dr. J. Cisse. Dr. J. Cisse broke it down and explained and talked about what amounted to being a feminist. If you haven't watched that video, I implore you, go watch it. Go watch it. And I'm telling you, this was propagated by the same people that stand now to call themselves feminists. How can I believe in these individuals? I cannot. I can't. You can't force me to believe in somebody that I've known or somebody that I know that have been involved in the highest of conspiracies. Lying to fuel a particular narrative and agenda. They started attacking people. Seiture started writing and defending me. She was called a rape apologist. Yes, that's what she was called. They were attacking people. They were scared to come out and defend me. I saw Anasar. Anasar at that time, when this thing just started, wrote a long article. And at the end, she ended her article. Where did it go wrong? In her article, Anasar was one of the few people that testified that I went to Gambia High School with Melville. I went to Gambia High School with Melville. Imagine, Gambia High School was a boy-girl school. And I've never seen a single person that this guy has ever harassed. Never. I was in the same club with Melville, and I've never seen this guy harass a single person. And then she asked, where did it go wrong? I've never talked to Anasar about this, but I wanted to respond at that time to say, Anasar, the question you should have asked is not where did it go wrong? Not where did it go wrong? Because it never went wrong. Because it never went wrong. I had no one. On that particular Sunday, when everybody I felt I knew turned their backs against me, I had no one. No one. I decided on a Sunday, this happened on a Friday, I was in my room in Oxford alone. And I decided, you know what? That is it. It's done for me. I said, I can't take it anymore. It was done. I said, it's over. And I sent a message to my girlfriend. At the time, she was my girlfriend. Yasmin's mom, if you don't know her. I sent a message to her. And I said to her, you know what? I said, I can't take it anymore. I said, I can't take it anymore. I said, for me, it's done. And those who know me, they know I'm diabetic. So I'm on insulin. So I already made up my mind that I was going to take as much insulin to knock me to unconsciousness, and it would have been painful. I wouldn't have felt any pain. It was done for me. It was absolutely done. So I sent her the message. I laid on my bed. I gave her the password to things that I felt she had to know. And before I continue about this Sunday, let me tell you one thing that happened. And this is always when I tell people that God is a great God. To people who didn't know me before, I am one person, I don't discard documentation. Anything that transpires between me and an individual is documented and kept. So when these accusations happened, the only thing I told my girlfriend, and I don't know what happened, because remember, in 2019, I had just gone to Gambia for a month because it was Easter. So I went to Gambia. And always, I had two things I had with me. I had my car keys and my house keys. My room key, rather. And of course, I had a copy of the key to my house. But my cousin was staying at my house at the time with her husband and her daughter and granddaughter. But I never left my room key. I always bring my room keys with me. I've had it for years. Anywhere I go in the world, my room keys were with me. And I had my car keys. So I get to Gambia, I just go home, start my car, go do whatever I want to do, or I have access to the house and my room keys. So I had just gone to Gambia for Easter. But for some strange reason, I can never explain this to anyone, so please don't ask me because I don't know why. I don't know why. So I left, we went to the airport. My driver took me to the airport, drove me to the airport. And when I got to the airport, my girlfriend was with me. And for some strange reason that I can never explain, except it is the hand of God. Remember, this was in March. So these accusations happened on the 28th of June. But this was in March. So I didn't know what happened. I don't know, but I went to Gambia. I had all my keys in my pocket. When we got to the airport, I got down, took my suitcase down. I had my backpack on. Then I turned to Fatu. I was like, I'm giving you this. Can you keep it? And guess what was it that I gave to her? I gave her my room keys. Imagine, I've been traveling the whole world. I've never left my room keys with anyone. No one. Because I knew that I had documents, I had materials, I don't leave my room keys with anyone. Muslim Kodef. But for some strange reason, imagine this girl was just my girlfriend. She wasn't my wife. She was nothing, just my girlfriend. And I don't even know why. I gave her my room keys. I gave her my house key, a key to my house. And I left it with them, got on the plane, and I came to England. When these accusations went online and I saw Batambedu's press release and everything, I called Fatu. And I said to her, Fatu, what are you doing? She said to me, nothing. This was when, of course, she had already questioned me a little bit here and there. I said to her, I want you to take a taxi and I want you to go to my house now. And then she said to me, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I said to her, no, I want you to go to my house now. If you cannot do it, tell me. I will get somebody to come to my house. To come to you, take the keys and go to my house. And she said to me, no, I'll do it. So she went to my house. If I did not give Fatu my keys, she could never have gone into my house. If I didn't leave my room key, she would never have gone in there. So I directed her into my room. I had all my phones that I had from the first time, from the Nokia, how do you call it, Nokia 3310 to the Sony Ericsson. I don't throw away phones. I don't discard messages. I don't throw away documents. In fact, one instruction I gave to my maids and they knew me was that don't throw a paper in my house. No matter how you think it's rubbish, put it in a plastic bag for me. So I told her to go into my house. I directed her exactly where these phones were. I said, take everything, take my laptop, everything. So everything that I needed. Everything that I needed. Because when I was seeing all these exchanges, these messages, I knew in my heart that, oh my God, I have messages between these people that they were telling me stuff. I said, so how can you sit here and lie? But the thing is, they expected just the normal thing that so many years have passed and there's no way I can get a record of their exchanges with me, records of their conversations, things that they have sent me, videos, nude videos of themselves, nude pictures that they were sending me, trying to entice me, trying to get me into a relationship with them. They thought that these things have all vanished because years have passed. No, I do not discard anything. In fact, Bulisaw and them were saying that it was the first time. I mean, Dave would always tell me that you taught me a lesson. I do not discard nothing anymore. So I told Fatu to go. Fatu removed everything. And I said, take it back to your house in Latrikunda. Guess what happened? Guess what happened? The very next day, the police broke into my house, into my room, and took every single thing that was electronics from that house. But I had already taken all the ones that I wanted. The other phones were phones I bought in, I didn't even buy it. My friend in Geneva gave me those phones. There were some old broken phones that she gave me and said that I should come and give it out to people in Gambia. So the old broken phones was what they found. But the phones that belonged to me that I have used, Fatu had already taken all of them. And luckily for me, my aunt that I mentioned, Auntie Femi, because she saw what was going on, decided she was going to leave and come and spend some time with me in England because she was worried about me. So I asked Fatu to give her everything, so she brought my laptop and all my phones. But if I didn't have these, it would have been in the custody of the police. I would never have had, even though it is not my business to have to counteract the allegations, it was they who should prove. But to the public eye, I was already sold in the court of public opinion as a bad, evil rapist, a wicked person, a criminal. This was what they sold to the public. So if I didn't have those phones, if I didn't have my laptop, I would have had nothing. Simply because by divine intervention, I decided for some strange reason that I can never explain 3.5 years after, why I gave my room keys to that girl and why I gave her my house keys is something I will never, ever understand. Because it is something I've never done before. And I've traveled the whole world and I've never done it. So, it didn't stop at that. They started attacking the people that were supporting me. They were calling them rape apologists. They were writing to them, sending them messages, no, don't support him, come to my camp. Don't you feel sorry? Aren't you a girl? Aren't you a woman? Yes, that is what they did. Wrote all manner of lies. In fact, the one that got me was when Mama Lingersa wrote, and Lala Toure copied it and wrote to say that I was beating my mother up. That was the straw that got me. I was like, you know what? That's it. I was like, that's it. And that was when I went against these people and I went in for them. That was it for me. I said, me, the blessings I have, there is no activist alive that I know that has the blessings of a mother than I do. I left law school to take care of my sick mother. I left my law school. I left my career. I left my education to stay at home. I bathed my mom. I fed my mom. I cooked for my mom. I slept on hospital floors. I took care of my mother. My mother died in my hands, holding my hands. You sit in your corner. You have the audacity. You have the balls. You have the temerity to write and say, I killed my mother. What I did for my mother. There is no Gambian activist that did quarter of what I did for my mother. None. They are not born. The blessings that I have, the day that someone like Lala Toure would have that such a blessing would be the day that the world will end. She cannot get it. She cannot possess it. She cannot understand it. But so you tell me, I'm giving you my perspective as an accused person. You tell me, how was this amount to fighting for a rape victim? You tell me how this meant that they were fighting for a rape victim. You tell me. You tell me. No, it was not about that. It was about the lies, the conspiracy to fuel a very pathetic, a very sad agenda. And guess what? I went to Banjul, even though it was everywhere that the police had warrant for my arrest, that the moment I go to Banjul, I'll be locked up in jail, I'll do anything, I'll do this. I went to Banjul, I stayed 2 months in Banjul after all of this. And in January, from January, I was in Banjul till March. Till March. I was in Banjul. Guess what? I went to the police station. And the Gambia police can come out with a statement to say Melville is lying. I went to the police station. The investigators are there. They called them to come to the police station. Up till I left, they never stepped foot in that police station. I went to the police station every day. Keksane is my witness. Every day, they never stepped foot. The police were calling them, telling them to come. They said no, they had to contact their lawyer. They were calling one person after another. They want to come in a group because they lied. Because they lied to their teeth. Not only that, I'll tell you what else they did that they didn't know I was documenting. So they were going among themselves, between the feminists, the so-called feminists and the so-called accused persons. They were writing messages. And then they were claiming that they were trying to protect the identity of the persons or the people behind the messages. So they were putting all these messages, lying that these messages were coming from me, when I was reading the messages and I knew the messages were not messages I wrote. But they took my profile picture on Facebook, put it on whatever account they were using, and then lying to say that these messages were coming from me, and that they would screenshot and crop the messages to say, oh, see what Melville said, or see what Melville did. But then they claim that, oh, we are hiding, this person doesn't want to be exposed. They were hiding the identity of these individuals. So I'm telling you the depth of their conspiracy. I'm trying to show you how evil they can get, how low they can get to fuel a particular narrative. Witchcraft, to me, it was witchcraft. This was not being about a feminist anymore. This was it was like a witch hunt. They said it. We're going to destroy you. We're going to destroy you. That's what they said. But guess what? I'll tell you the irony of it all. That girl, Fatou Moloshi, or whatever her name, Elika Moloshi of GRTS, was writing, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to ensure that anywhere somebody turns, when they write, when they go on the internet, your name will be seen as as a rapist. That's what she told me. But guess what? When I returned from Gambia, after I have met the police and the investigators, I started exposing them on the same social media that they stood. Exposing all of them one by one, putting them... The only thing that I did not do, out of respect for my mother being a woman, was to expose their nude pictures and nude videos that they sent me. It was the only thing that I did not do. I had people, you won't believe it, I'm just to tell you how Gambians are. I had grown men calling me, telling me that I should give them the pictures and they will post it on my behalf. I said to them, no. I said, if I want to do that, I will do it myself. I don't hide behind people. Yes, I showed the police on my phone. I showed them on my phone, but I didn't give it to them because I didn't even trust the police to give it to them. I didn't trust the police to give it to them. But when I started exposing them, and then people started seeing them for the lies, the deception, they're evil, guess what? They started now coming out. The same people that were making videos to say they were raped were now saying that they wanted, or they are victims, they should be protected. Yes. It was then that they went and they had their kabudus. Because some of these people, some of these so-called people that you see, they are dating big government officials, you know. Yes. They have people in high places. They were going, in fact, they had a liaison. They had a person, a state council, a woman who doubled as an activist that was telling them that they had all sorts of evidence against me. They were coming on Facebook saying that they had all sorts of manner of evidences against me. But up till today, 3.5 years, you guys have never seen one shred of evidence because it was a bloody lie. They don't have shit against me. Nothing. Of course, my fatty went and wrapped his tail between his legs and he vanished. And of course, his wife dumped him for lying. So, you see what happens. You see what happens. When they were brought to zero on the same social media, they started getting people to call me. Oh, you're a lawyer. You know better. Wait till you get to court. And I asked them when they were writing nonsense and talking stuff about me, did they take it to court? Yes, I'm a lawyer. When you take me to court and want me to fight in court, I will fight in court with all I have. I will explore all legal avenues. But when you bring it to social media, I will fight you on social media. I will expose your lies on social media. Because you're being exposed, you now know there's a court of law. Did you take your complaints to court? No. Did you take your complaints to court? No, you came on social media. You tried to demoralize me. You tried to victimize me. You tried to paint me as a devil on social media. When I tried to correct the facts and expose and show social media how wicked and how evil you guys were. When I showed social media how a conniving, lying bunch you were, you start telling me that, oh, keep it and wait for social media. You think I'm an idiot. You think I'm an idiot. And I'm not done yet because I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book where I will document pictorial evidence. Pictorial evidence with pictures, names, so that these people will know that you cannot tell a lie against an innocent man. You cannot. They wanted to launch a campaign under my name. They wanted to fuel an agenda, a Me Too movement under my name. I crushed it before their very eyes. I crushed it before their very eyes. You will see one or two pockets will be lying and tell you, oh, go to Gambia. What am I going to do in Gambia? I have no business in Gambia. When the height of your accusations, I went to Gambia. What business do I have to do to Gambia? You don't know why I'm not going to Gambia. You don't know. Because I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. What I had to do in Gambia, I did. They will tell you, oh, the matter is in court. 3.5 years. What court? What judge? Lies. Lies. I went to Gambia, Keksane, Sabali, Omar Wali. They came to my house. What did they do to them? They started writing, telling them that they were rape apologists. They shouldn't come to my house. They were blocking them. Can you imagine? You say you're fighting for a rape victim, but you want to determine who comes to my house, an accused person. People come to my house, you write to them. You have the temerity. Imagine a stupid 20-something-year-old girl. You have nothing. You don't even have a degree. You have no academic qualifications. You have not developed yourself. You have nothing to your name. You're hiding behind fake activism. You're questioning adults that can be your father coming to my house. You're telling them, why did you go to Melville's house? That's the height of Nyaka Jom. You don't have nothing to your name. Nothing. You're questioning people, telling them, why are you coming to Melville's house? Don't go to Melville's house. Don't talk to Melville. You call them rape apologists. Whilst they are the same people jumping from one man to another. Dilen Mbara. Mbaradig people jumping from one office to another. Bootlicking people. I have my degrees. I don't have to bootlick to get a job. I have my qualifications. I don't have to bootlick to get a job. But we don't know you. We know you. We know you. And me, I trust Gambia because I love Gambia. They set up a WhatsApp group. And I told this to Mama Lingersad. Every damn thing that you were discussing in that WhatsApp group was being sent to me by one of them. One of the feminists who was writing to me and telling me how she loves me and she knows that I will never do that. Yes. Was sending me all the screenshots. The police have it. The police have it. They had a WhatsApp group. They said they were trying to destroy me. They were strategizing for me. Yet one of them who knew what was better and knew that I was a gentleman through and through, that knew that they had looked the whole of Gambia. They could not find a man like me. They could not find a handsome, tall, dark, educated man like me, was coming to me and telling me how she loves me and was sending me the messages that they were planning for me. And that was why I was always one step ahead of them, because they were a bunch of idiots. You plan for me on a WhatsApp group? Are you serious? Are you serious? You plan for me? You plan for me? What was available for me? The criminal justice system was against me already. I was already a guilty person. How was I given the presumption of innocence? How was I given it? I wasn't given it. They were lying against me. They were peddling lies, spreading lies. They don't even know. When I walked in Gamtel, I was still in school. I just loved to have money, to have my own change. I was working at 151, calling, I don't know, hello, how are you? 151, can I give you your number or something like that? They lied and said they thought I was working with money in Gamtel. No, I never worked with money in Gamtel. But just to show you the lies. When I was leaving Gambia, I was working for the United Nations. I was working for the United Nations, and people don't know this. When I left Gambia, when I left high school, when I was leaving Gambia, I already got a job with the United Nations World Food Program. I left that job and went to America. So they don't know this. Do they know that? I only had what? O-levels, A-levels? That's all I had. But my brilliance was such that I could get a job with the UN system. That was how brilliant I was. I just left Gambia High School. And I'm telling you, I still have my appointment letter. It's still here in my safe. So you don't know a person. And you think you can destroy me. I mean, you can't, because I'll fight you for the rest of my life. As long as I know I'm innocent. You can't. So they got a wrong footing with me. They couldn't do nothing because they knew it was a lie. But what I wanted, the only thing I wanted was for them to come out and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I never knew these people were lying. And then we would have worked together. You see, I saw a person made a comment and say, that is why I don't understand how you and Mama Linguère can be friends. I am not a hateful person. I am not a vindictive person. I can never be. Because I became friends with Mama Linguère, a lot of people stopped talking to me. Because these were people that fought for me with all they can. They fought for me and by me with all they can. But I am different. I am different. And I always say, if you fought for me based on truth, you cannot determine who will be my perpetual enemy. I cannot have an eternal enemy. I cannot. I cannot. If Mama Linguère comes to me and say, I'm sorry, I don't have nothing against her. I don't wish anything bad to happen to her. She hurt me. I hurt her back. We're done. She says she's sorry. I say I'm sorry. We are done. It is left to Mama Linguère to hide and tell people she doesn't talk to me. Someone told me that she says she doesn't speak to me. That's her business. I don't have to hide that I'm speaking to her because I have nothing against her. I will continue to challenge her on issues. I will never delve into personalities. I will continue to challenge her on issues with respect. I will continue to challenge her on issues with decorum. I will continue to challenge her on issues with substance, period. I have no business with her personality. None whatsoever. And nobody can determine who I make my eternal enemy. I don't have it. Because I'm human. I go against God, I apologize. And therefore, if a human being hurts me or does something to me and apologizes to me, it is my prerogative to forgive and forget. I'm not going to hold her as my eternal enemy. If somebody is plotting against Mama Linguère now to do something bad to her, I know it, I will tell her. But when it comes to issues of feminism, when it comes to issues of the way she wants to propagate her agenda, I will be in a battlefield with her until the end of times. But I will do so with respect. I will challenge her on substance. I will challenge her on issues. And this is what I'm doing with every feminist. Every person, every Gambian that holds themselves as a feminist. I will not attack you personally. No, I will never do that. You choose to send people to attack me, I will repeat, they are pigs and I'm not a pig. And therefore I will never engage a pig in a ground that the pig is familiar with. I will never descend into a mud to engage a pig. No, because that is the familiar terrain of the pig. That is the comfort zone of the pig. So send anybody you want to me. I will not engage. But one thing I know, there is no lies that you can speak about Melville Roberts that anyone would believe. Nothing will stick. There is nothing that you will say about me that can stick because people have seen through your lies. People have seen through your conspiracies. So there's absolutely nothing. Nothing absolutely that you can say about me. Nothing. So continue to lie. Continue to tell people don't follow Melville. The day you told them not to follow me, I had 2,000 additional followers. In fact, right now I have almost 700 people watching me, and it is because I have a new page that I just started. If I was on my Facebook wall, I would have thousands of viewers watching me. So you cannot turn people against me. That is what you did, and you failed. And the Gambian public is not stupid. The Gambian public is not gullible. The Gambian public is not idiotic. You have only one time to fight a battle. If you fuck that battle up, excuse my language, you are done. You are done. No feminist reached out to me to say, Mr. Mel, this is what we are seeing. This is what we know. What is your perspective? What is your perspective? What happened, Mel? No, they didn't do that. You think you can just sling my name through the mud and yes, you will have something that sticks. No, you're not. You can't have it. You cannot have it. Because even the Attorney General and Minister of Justice at the time saw through the lies. They saw through the lies. The Solicitor General, they saw through the lies. And that was why they kept faking and saying, oh, the matter is in court, we won't talk about it. But there was no damn matter in any court in the Gambia. Because they knew that it was a lie. They knew that what was being said on social media and the evidences and file before them was like day and night. But they didn't have the balls to come out and say, sorry, Melville. They didn't have the balls, they didn't have the temerity to come out and say, Melville, we are sorry. We apologize for listening to lies. We apologize for standing by victims that are not victims, so-called victims that have lied to their teeth. They were embarrassed to say that. But if only they did that, they would have been able to fight and stand for a better Gambia. They believe that. They know that. As we speak, as I speak to you, I brought an action. I sued the entire state of Gambia. I brought an action against the government of the Gambia, the state of Gambia, the Republic of the Gambia, at the ECOWAS International Court for violating my constitutional rights, for not availing me fair hearing, and for siding by what amounted to a lie. And I can tell you authoritatively that over a year today, that matter is still in the ECOWAS court and the Gambia has not put up a defense. Because there's no defense that they can put up. Because the defense is based on the evidence that they can have against me. Which they do not have because it is a lie. These people did not stop at that. And finally, let me tell you what they did. They wrote to the University of Oxford. Do you imagine these activists, these small kids in Gambia that have no clout? They came to Gambia. They came together. They wrote to my university, University of Oxford, telling Oxford to expel me. Do you see the depth of wickedness? Do you see the depth of evil? Dr. J, if you're watching, can you see what I tried to explain? Imagine, no one has even lodged a complaint against me. I was not found guilty by a court of law. There were no evidences against me. These individuals wrote to the University of Oxford to get them to expel me. The height of wickedness, the height of greed, the height of jealousy, the height of evil. Wickedness to the core. And you sit there and call yourself feminist. You say you're fighting for women. You're the devil. You're the devil. I'm putting it to you. These people are devils. They are wicked to the core. The only thing that saved me was that this is a Western world. And when they wrote to them, the university said, as far as they're concerned, this guy is a star student. No single other student have come to complain that he harassed them. So we don't believe. What are the evidences that you have? Show us the evidences. Yes, they wrote to my university to expel me. In fact, when they were writing on Facebook, they were tagging the University of Oxford. They were tagging the University of Oxford. That's the wickedness. Imagine, I was not convicted of rape. Nothing. So what? And you call yourself, that was not activism. Is that activism? This is what they tried to do to me, to destroy me. Did they stop at that? They contacted Interpol. You know, it's so funny because white people don't lie. They contacted Interpol to get me extradited to Banjul. And Interpol wrote to them again to ask them to send them at least evidences of the accusations against me. It was the last time that Interpol was contacted. It was the last time it was contacted. So they think I don't know all of these things. Witchcraft, witches, evil people. But I graduated over and over and over and over again. Over and over again. Because they can't stop me. Their evil can't stop me. Their greed can't stop me. Their wickedness can't stop me. It cannot. Whilst they wallow in pity, whilst they wallow in self-destruction, I continue to advance myself. As I speak to you, I'm enrolled in another Masters of Law. Another Masters of Law in medical law. And wallahi, if I finish by the grace of God Almighty, I will be the first Gambian lawyer with an expertise in medical law. And I know some of my family members were telling me, oh, don't post your achievements on social media. It was a lie. I made sure all my graduations, it was posted on social media. I posted it. And in fact, bless his name, I mean, God rest his soul, Panderi was all over me, posting my pictures and everything. But this is the evil that these people do. So don't tell me this is about feminism. Don't tell me this is support for an accused person, for a victim. How do you support a victim by calling the University of Oxford, asking them to expel me when I have not been convicted of a crime? How do you call that activism? You sit in your corner and tell me that now I should listen to feminists. It's a lie. I will not listen to them. I will not. And there's nobody that can tell me to listen to them. If they continue to propagate the type of feminism that they do in the Gambia, I will not listen. It is a feminism, it's an ideology based on evil. It is an ideology based on lies. It is an ideology based on witchcraft. Witchcraft. Because none of them, I swear, and I'm saying this today publicly, none of them will ever cross the first interview to get admissions into the University of Oxford. None of them. To a point, when I make friends, I remember I made friends with a girl. The first thing she told me was she went online and saw my name that I was a rapist. And she stopped talking to me. Now it has changed, because if somebody tells me that, I present to you with all the I present to you all the court processes that have taken them to court to defend themselves and defend the authenticity of the allegations against me. The only thing they succeeded to do, was to spoil my job at the foreign ministry. And to be honest, they didn't do it because, and again, I'm telling you what people didn't know. The foreign ministry has been writing to me to go back home and work, and I have refused. And I refused because I felt that the position they took based on social media allegations, it was bad, it was unprofessional, and they did not seek to protect me as a colleague and staff of the ministry. They write to say that, oh, what, I defrauded my mother. Can you imagine? Yes, they are jealous because, yes, I have an inheritance. Yes, I do have an inheritance. I have a house. I have home. I have money. Yes, I have an inheritance. Yes, I do. Hundreds of thousands of pounds and dollars. I do. I have it. Does it bother you? I know some of you feminists are struggling from day to day looking for one project to another. Yes, I do. I have it. And I thank God I have an inheritance. I thank God I have the qualifications that when I work, what I earn in a month is thousands and thousands of pounds in a month. That can sustain you, that could double your salaries for years in the Gambia or wherever you are. Yes, so I thank God. So you're jealous of me, don't you? Aren't you? Why wouldn't you be jealous of me? I'm educated. I'm smart. I'm handsome. I'm good looking. Yes, I do have money. Yeah, I have it. You said it. You said I defrauded. I do have it. And you know I have it. What? So what? What can you do? Nothing. Nothing. But what I am trying to say, and the point I am trying to make, is that you can be honest. You can be sincere. You can support a victim. You can support a victim. You can fight a clean, honest, truthful, and credible fight for a victim without propagating a false agenda. Anasar, I don't care if you call it bragging or not. I'm telling you, and I'll say it again. I'm smart. I'm educated. Yes, I have money. And I'm handsome. Yes, Anasar, I said that, and I'll say it again and again and again. Anybody that does not want to listen to that, if you want to call it bragging, just get out of the line. I'm saying it because that's what it is. That's what it is. That is what it is. You know how much, if you know how much I earn at my job, you know it. Do you know? It's probably over a year or two salary of what I used to earn in the Gambia. You want to see the car I drive? You want to? Yes, I do. So I'm accomplished. But because I have God and because I have the blessings of a mother. I have the blessings of my mother. My mother blessed me. On her deathbed, she blessed me. She would tell me, why don't you leave me and go out with your friends? I'll tell her, no, I'll take care of you. She would tell me, why don't you leave me and go? I said, no. I said, no. I slept on the floor in hospitals with my mother. I bathed my mom. I cooked for my mom. The maid will never tell you that she ever washed my mom's underwear or washed my mom. No, I did it myself. I was doing it. I was in final year in law school. I left my friends, my colleagues, they all became lawyers before me because I took care of my mother. And you sit in your stupid, idiotic feminist corner and you think you're going to destroy me. Hannah, God doesn't exist. Hannah, God doesn't exist. Do you know me? Do you know my struggle? Do you know where I came from? Do you know the obstacles I've gone through in life to get to where I am? And you sit in your corner and you think you can go behind a keyboard and destroy me. It is a lie. It is a lie. It is a lie. And me, I am a better feminist than you guys. Because Seiture is here. Anita is here if she's watching. Other people that raise funds for worthy cause, for women, for children. I'm the first one to give my support. And I don't send them £10 and £20. If you go back to Gambia and ask people, Keksane is my witness. Ask Keksane how many times I send him money to give to people that I don't know and I've never met. Ask him. He's there. He can always come out and say, you're lying. Ask them how many people. Facebook is here. Do you know how many people write to me and ask me for help that I help? And I do not come out to brag. I am a bigger feminist than any Gambian feminist woman. What more do I want? I have a beautiful partner. I have beautiful kids. I'm okay, man. If I don't want, what's up? You just want to spoil and destroy somebody in the name of a fight, in the name of a struggle. In the name of a struggle and a fight, like seriously. And you have a criminal justice system that has been bastardized to a point that rather than an accused person relying on the presumption of innocence, that person is fighting and struggling to prove they're innocent in court because they have already been found guilty by a system. They have already been found guilty by a system. The criminal justice system that starts from the end of the police. A person comes to the police station, lodges a complaint against you. You're called. You're already an accused person. You're already charged. In some cases with no evidence. You have a judicial system that have made a proclamation that as long as you've been accused of rape, you cannot be granted bail. You'll be kept in remand. We saw the Bob Keita trial. We saw what he's going through. 2 years, you're behind bars. If that person comes out and that person is innocent, that person has already been scarred for life and for eternity. That person comes out innocent, he has a stigma. You have called him a rapist. You have painted his picture, you have put it on everywhere, on social media, on the internet, and you want to continue to protect yourself. And people will come out and say, oh, why Jigenla, it's a woman. Yes, a woman can kill. A woman can get away with murder. If I get up today and I do a post and I put their faces, these accused persons, and I put their faces underneath and I put their messages, their pictures they've sent to me, people will say I'm bad. But when they were putting my face and calling me a rapist and calling me all sort of names, they were being cheered. People clapped for them. Is that a system based on feminist ideologies where you're looking to protect both the boy and the girl child? Is that a system where you're seeking equity for both? Is it? I almost took my life. Because on that Sunday, I had the insulin in my hand. I filled it to its capacity. And I said, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. It's not worth it anymore. And I called my partner at the time. I said to her, it's not worth it. I said, it's not worth it. I said, but you keep these things that I'm sending to you. And make sure you defend my name even when I'm gone. And you know what she said to me? She sent me a message and she said to me, if you kill yourself now, what would happen to me? Who would believe my story? She told me, everybody has said that I should turn my back against you. But I know you and I know who you are. If you do it, who will I have? She said, stay and fight and clear your name. And that was the only thing that stopped me that night, that evening, that Sunday evening, alone in my room. It was the only thing that stopped me. Because nobody knew what I was going through. Everybody just thought and expected that I was strong. I was strong because I just stood there. And then people tell you to be quiet. And people tell you you can't fight back. You can't say nothing. Because they say you're a man. You're more intelligent. You have a certain class. You have a certain status. You shouldn't respond. Don't go their way. Don't do nothing. Even up to today, I will write an article. I will write things that would things to educate people. And you will see somebody write a comment, oh, shut up, oh, you're a rapist. You say that, yeah. Meanwhile, I've never been convicted. But because you have evil people around, because you have people that are so mean, that are so wicked, that would do anything. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off this live and then I'm gonna continue on my other page. I'm gonna continue on my normal Facebook page. I'm gonna go off this live.